Got up there and then the fire bells all started ringing and I must have been opening up my bag of potato chips and didn't look at there because, I mean, it was just minutes.
Do they know what?
No, I don't know. I mean, we went over, I ran back,
yeah.
we grabbed the fire truck when they called and went back over, but when it's not my gig, I just do my thing.
And do your thing,
get
yeah.
home.
But it looked hot.
Well, the
And
minute
the
they
smoke.
said that it started on the porch, I'm thinking wood stove, ashes on the porch, or pellet stove, hot ashes on the porch.
Yeah, but I don't know that, then when it went right back into the barn.
All right.
It was hot and smoky.
Well, the time is
Thank
now
God everybody's okay.
6:31, so welcome to the select board meeting. And we'll open as per usual with the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the
United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes, we're moving on today. All right. So, myself, Dave Hemingway.
Marlo Herrick, Norman D. Blake.
All right, and for announcements, do we have any specific announcements?
Other than reminding people about the closure of White Plains Road between
yes.
the last week in April, 24th through the 29th.
So we'll be able to remind them one more time.
Yeah.
And regarding road closures, while they're not closed, be mindful that the roads are posted for mud season, so weight limits do apply if you're trying to have large deliveries done.
I have two things.
Yes.
The canoe and kayak races will be held in Webster on April 29th and 30th. It's the 40th year.
Yeah.
It's a long time. And the other thing is the townwide yard sale will be happening Saturday, May 20th. So people have to call Terry Olson Martin or email her if they want to join.
Awesome.
I'd also like to just reiterate, the clerk's office is reopened. She's open Monday and Wednesday from 8:30 in the morning till 12:30 in the afternoon, and she reopens at 4:30 in the afternoon to 8:30 in the evening.
And that is every Monday and Wednesday.
Monday and Wednesday.
And property inventories are due on the 15th, everybody, so get them in.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I thought they
Don't
would do
forget
the
I've done it.
first,
It's
so-
$50.
Yes. Don't delay. You will have a.
You will pay.
You will pay if they're not in, so get them in.
I liked if you have a delay, you will pay.
Yeah, that's good.
I did.
All right. Any other announcements? Okay. Well, in that case, come on down, gentlemen. Let's move on to our appointment with the department heads. Who all wants to go first?
I might as well then. He makes me go first most of the time.
Picture really makes it look
So as of
Yeah,
3/22,
more better than I drove by.
we've used $64,524.67 of our budget, which was $306,251. And that leaves us with 79.27%, so we're right on mark for the year, we're good. March was a busy month for us. A lot of investigations, a lot of drug work. We did, I think, 4 or 5 search warrants for drugs and guns and stuff. And it was a lot. 47 motor vehicle stops, only 1 summons, $250 fine, because somebody's keep talking on their telephone and won't let go of it. It was the 3rd time she got whacked. So she paid $250 for talking on her cell phone. That's something I'm gonna put on the sign when it gets put up. Put the phone down, it can wait, or something. We had the 2 arrests. One was multiple drug felony charges. The other one was just a warrant that we already had out for somebody. Handled 69 calls for service, which is not, that's about average, probably a little more than average for us. Typical calls, civil service calls, was for civil matters, department information, juvenile petitions, mental health issues. We had 3 of them this past month. Pistol permits, road hazards, sex offender registries, suspicious vehicle reports, house checks, welfare checks. We've done a few of those too. So people are calling in to check on their relatives if they don't answer the phone or whatever, which is nice. And we're happy to go do that for them. Assist to other agencies, disturbance calls, animal complaints, fire and EMS, which kind of rounded us all out for the month. And I guess the rest we'll talk about later.
Random question for you.
Absolutely.
Regarding things like the checkups. That probably shouldn't go through something like 911, so what number should people call if they want to do something like that?
They can call the regular department line and leave a message, or if they want for, for a property check,
Something of that nature.
if it's a property check, they can go right online, fill out the form, and email it right to us.
Oh,
And
okay.
we'll check the house all the time they're gone. We've got roughly 20 that we do continuously. Some we do all winter long, just for them. And then we got a few that we do all summer long, because they're gonna be gone all year. So, anybody and everybody, doesn't make a difference, we'll check everybody's house for them.
All right, so the email is the preferred way to do that then?
It's the easiest way, or they can come right in, come on in, they can sit down and talk to us, and we'll tell them what we do and how we do it, and it's nice, because that way, they explain to us, if they leave lights on, who's got contact keys, if there's a problem, who do we contact, if they're out of state or out of country, it just makes it easier.
Sweet.
Thank you.
So we'll start with the highway. We've been around, I went around there a couple of days last week with a grader just to take the edge off and things. It's not ready to be spring graded yet because of the shoulders are still soft in places. Actually, the roads have dried out phenomenal. Call Road, I didn't get up there yet. We'll probably be up there.
No, just
No, it was still
kidding.
up, the frost and stuff
Yeah,
up through there where
yeah.
the sun doesn't get in there, it wouldn't
Right.
have done any good, but,
I'm only kidding.
probably tomorrow.
Oh, awesome.
Uh,
But the tree that is there, who takes care
we're
of it?
gonna do that this
Oh,
week
you will,
too.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I just didn't
yeah.
know if we should cut it,
Yeah.
whatever.
No,
Yeah.
I just waited for some of the snow to get out
Gotcha.
of that, because there's the one down at the end of Winter Pocket by the pump
Mm-hmm.
site, and there's the one up on the Call Road. I have one that went through the house on Roby Road,
Okay, yeah, that's real important ones, for sure.
and a bunch of just from that heavy snow that had just broke. And we'll take 2-3 days and go around, clean that all up.
Yeah.
And then the brush isn't you don't get it all, but you get 90% of it. We'll run it through the chipper and
Yeah.
stuff.
What
So-
about when the power lines come down and there's the transformers just laying there that's got all
Is
that?
it still there?
Yeah, all that lovely stuff in it.
Because Phil asked me the other day, and then I went out through there
Oh, maybe they grabbed it,
the
I
other
didn't know.
day,
I'll look at
and
that.
I didn't.
I didn't see it today.
No?
I didn't
Okay,
see
good.
it
Well, maybe they
towards
grabbed
the
it.
end of last
Yeah.
week.
In theory, the power company is supposed to clean it
Well,
up.
no, I
Well,
was just asking, and
well,
my husband was just saying,
yeah.
who do we contact? He
Right,
just works,
right.
we all worry about
So-
PSP or PSD or whatever the hell it is.
So what
right?
happened this last storm? They called in crews from
Oh,
other
states,
states,
yep.
and they
Gotcha.
didn't have crew boss. And they were rude. You go to talk to them to try to help
Yeah.
them or whatever, and they turn it around and walk away from you. Eddie Raymond over to Warner had the same problem.
Yeah,
They just
weird, huh?
whatevers. And usually they have a crew boss from Eversource, that's whatever's, and like up on Clough and Sandman, I mean, the tree was into the wires, the power wasn't out, But the guy, I mean, which is good, so somebody didn't get hurt, it saved one of us to sit there. Sat there all night long for 10 hours, the woman said she was at the town hall the other day with his blinking light on and the motor running and nobody could sleep in the house. So but.
There was some interesting, but they got us back going and.
No, they did, and
that's good.
they did good, but
Yeah.
out on the Cole Road, when I called TDS, the boss down there, that's their line through there. They
Yep.
own the telephone
Right.
poles and everything.
Oh,
They
okay.
didn't even know their lines were down, and they didn't even know that somebody had changed the telephone pole for them. And, 'cause I called them and said, hey, people are running over your wires.
Right.
And we need to get this done. And I said, I notified the power company through fire alarm 10 minutes after it came down the night of the storm, and it never got down to where it needed to go. So,
You're right, they're straightening us out, but thank you for doing that.
and when I got on the phone with him, he said, I'll have a crew out there in an hour, which he did.
Yep.
I mean, that was 3 or 4 days after the power was all back up and running, and everybody was running across their lines, and, yeah, so, but the majority of things, but people with down lines, a down line is a live line, and people, they come out and they'll saw their way out through, we'll flag off the area and come back, the flags will be gone and the tree will be cut out, and you know Public Service or Eversource
been
didn't
there.
do it, because they ground their lines so somebody doesn't get hurt, and you hear generators running, you can look up and see that the breakers dropped, so that whole section's out, and you know which way it works, but when you hear that generator running, and that comes back through that transformer, that little generator, and hits that transformer, that puts it all back to full power. That's not just a little zing, 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 that's,
That's a wing wing.
and it's amazing the people that just will get out and put a chain around the log that's across the road that's got the wires under it and over it and drag it out of the way to go through. It's sad, but somebody's gonna get hurt. I mean, how do you educate them? Because you can lead a horse to water.
Yeah, that's the truth. I don't know.
Someday they'll get a
Well,
very shocking education.
You only have to see it once, because when you see it once, you'll never forget it. And I'll tell you,
Really?
it wakes people up. We saw a girl step out.
Yep.
Yeah, just stepped out, stepped
So-
on the line.
So, anyways, we're getting the roads smoothed up, and the trees are gonna be picked up. Call Road's gonna be graded. We'll see what happens with the rain Wednesday night into Thursday. The rain the other night, what little bit of frost,
Yeah, it's gone.
was on the Allen Road where it's shaded there, it sucked it out, and,
Rain's doing its duty.
it is.
Yep. Yep.
So, hopefully that won't be much longer, and there's not a lot going on, truck traffic in town anyway, so,
I have to say, Mutton Road was delivered papers today. That looks good. That was good.
yeah, that was one of my worst ones all through. We put 6 loads of 3/4 stone
Oh,
up
I know, you
there,
worked on it, huh?
back, a month or so, one of the mud seasons there a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks, it's really
Well, it
good.
definitely
It's
helps
nice and
bind it
smooth.
up, unfortunately.
Oh, especially up
Yep, we went all the
by
way.
Sally's and
Yep.
up through there where Addie cut all them trees
Yep.
up through there to let the sun go in. It's amazing what the sun will work with you and help you.
That's
And-
true.
And I took a long walk around Pleasant, and that was looking really good.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I was surprised as some of the previous years that I've done that.
Oh.
I haven't been able to walk
Yeah.
without like, I'm gonna turn around because my
It
foot's
has-
gonna get lost.
Right, but it has been weird, because we've never had a problem right on a corner like that.
Yeah, no,
Ever.
never. And I went around there
Yeah.
one day last week and I'm going, holy crap.
The bike,
all dug in.
the bike people went that way.
I know, what a mistake.
Well, they did good, because we kind of sat there and thought, oh, I wonder how they'll make out. Which, you know, they did, they zoomed right through it. I'm like, wow. I was a little concerned.
Yeah, there was a lot of bikes in town. a lot
Yeah,
of
on
them.
Saturday, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and they
Yeah.
did all those roads, really.
Yeah,
But, yeah, those fat tires handle better than you
Oh, the
But-
fat tires are amazing.
Well, and they didn't look all that fat when you were going by them, but they were enough to keep them upright.
I mean, standard mountain bikes can handle all that like super deep mud.
Right.
The fat tires can go on
I think it's this.
almost water.
It's this part. It's this where you
Yeah.
can't, with just snow on the ground, and you're like, oh, I hope they see that. We're kind of a caution tale.
Yeah,
A decent fat bike will drive on top of fluffy snow without
Yeah.
too much of a problem,
Yeah.
so.
so the roads are actually, the dirt roads, I'm really,
Yes, I
I'm
agree.
really liking how things are, how they're coming together, and Mother Nature, she cools things down and lets it go and cools it down, and so, yeah, so anything, do you folks have anything for?
So I have one thought that I wanna put in your head and see what you think about, which is actually the dirt section of Pleasant Street. And the reason that I want you to think about it is when, not this year, but next year, we're doing the construction for Clothespin Bridge, that will be the main detour route for everybody coming in. And so I think that's going to need to be an actual, in a lot of places it's good, but in some places it's not. I think it's gonna need to be an actual, like, 2-lane wide passable road. Have you thought about that and how and when we might be able to do anything towards making that
Oh.
detour safer for everybody? to
How
do
much
that?
thought I put in this, I've already been to the landowners,
Awesome.
and from Connecticut, Phil helped me get the information because Russ, we couldn't come up with a number. And I talked to the homeowners about cutting the trees and where they want their wood stacked. Yeah, and actually I was gonna work on that because we didn't have any winter. And then all of a sudden.
And then we did.
And so, because I left my excavator at the pit
Oh,
to do that. So, yeah, no, that is in the workings, and that's why, was it last summer or late fall, when we hired Jeffy Dearborn to take down them dangerous trees on there? That's part of that project
perfect.
of doing that, because, yeah, no, I've been working on that.
Awesome. I like it when he's already on top of everything
Absolutely.
I'm thinking
And,
Well, he's got the job.
about. Exactly.
yeah, so we'll get the trees out of there, and then we'll get that great big back for a week, and, yeah.
See how many people can think that we have an earthquake.
Well, you can hear that you can hear that. I mean, when you guys were doing that job up on Pond Hill, you could, you'd be at the here or anywhere, and then when they had it down to the pit, and then a couple of jobs we had it on, you could ding, 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 ding. So,
Yep.
it's amazing what that thing will do, though, instead of dynamite. So, yeah, no, that is in the workings, that, yeah, 'cause especially from Roy's Dingett's Corner, up through there where it's not straight, and then, yeah, 'cause I gotta get a hold of Unitil, where they took that trailer, where they moved that trailer, there's a line that goes out into where they used to have a fuel tank out into the woods in a little shed when them folks out there had the old pit. So I'm gonna see if they'll take that line down so I can fall them trees down there without hiring a crane,
Good
yeah.
idea. That'll save us some
Oh,
money.
it will. Yeah, that'll be
Easier to
good.
do it too, I betcha.
So that's my plan on that.
Awesome.
Good.
Cool.
Yeah. Everything at the firehouse seems to be doing real well. We're at 52, 53 calls for the year. Just get exact on that. 53 calls to call today. We went, third alarm to the town of Kentucky for a working structure fire. We laid 900 feet from the Concord Tower back up towards the high school and plumbed into the hydrant and fed the tower today. Started out with a second alarm, but during the day, there's not a lot of people around, so Jeff Yale, the chief there, he went to a third alarm to bring, it brings
People
more
in.
equipment, but it brings more people. So, yeah,
So was it safe, kinda?
no,
Oh,
no,
good at all.
no.
But nobody got hurt.
Nobody got hurt.
Yeah.
Was anybody even home?
I don't,
Nope,
I,
fine. I was just curious.
I did my thing and, got out.
We'll
of
let
it.
News 9 tell us that they
Yeah.
probably won't. We're not news enough.
All right.
So, yeah, no, Phil takes the boat up, gets a hold of the folks at the dam. And the boat is up there and they're supposed to be, Phil's got an email into them to get the boat back because the water is opening up, especially at Pillsbury Lake. The forestry truck is pretty much back in service. The rest of the stuff's in the boat to put that back in service, so,
We'll have the boat back Thursday. We're gonna pick it up Thursday.
on Thursday?
Yep.
Okay, he told me that, he just didn't know when, so that's great. So,
Everything's under control.
no,
Right.
things, are- yeah, no, things
you.
are, yeah, things are good.
Awesome.
Thank you.
This is what's going on. Last fall at the Beaver Dam pump site, we lost a brass cap, so onto the dry hydrant. So I had a steel one at the shop and I put that on. So now somebody, it must be brass, they, in the last month, have taken it off and the one at the Austin home on the Winnapocket pump site. So I don't know what they get for them in brass
Oh,
when they
steel
take it to
them.
Cohen's. But it's just so, it's just a pain in the whatevers because, yeah.
Get a quick cover on it.
And we, like, the mental health thing, we've had, like Steve was just saying, that we've had a few of them that we've worked with the police department on in the last couple of months, and, it's sad.
Speaking of that, how have the, I know we hoped that there would be some more oversight after we dealt with the false alarm ordinances. Have you continued to see lots of false alarms and stuff down there, or has it gotten better?
On that end of town, when the medical part of it is probably about the same,
Pretty
but
close to it.
the false alarms where the person was just wanted attention, pulled the alarm or sounded the alarm, they've moved to another facility
Oh,
from
okay.
the information that I've had. And the fire alarms have really, I better not speak too loud, but
Yeah.
It's slow.
it's been good.
Good.
But it's another sad situation.
It is, but I'm glad that the
But it
combination
is-
of the ordinance
it
and
is-
then
right.
taking care of their people
But
better is
Road,
solved
but
it.
it is, especially on the highway side, starting to cost. I've been noticing a lot, especially in the winter, this last winter. I mean, there's a lot of people that go in and out of there in a shift. At least 10 or 12 cars every 8 hours go in.
At least.
And 8 or 10 come out every 8 hours. And then the people that work there.
And the majority of that is dirt too, right?
Manchester Drive is dirt going in. The rest of it's tar, but these folks all come up from Concord, the majority of them. And God bless them, they have a car, but, I mean, the spoiler that's hanging down on the front's 2 inches and it's dragging snow and they don't go very good in our weather, and if you're not down there taking care of they're beside the road, or somebody will call and they can't get up over the hill by Corliss's, and I noticed it last winter quite a bit, that it was extra trips to make sure that,
The people that work there just aren't used to snow. I mean,
I don't even think.
We've got a
they-
lot of them that come from Manchester and Nashua, that are driving up.
And
Oh,
I,
wow, from Nashua.
yeah, and I don't believe some of them's even seen snow.
Yeah.
Which is kinda sad, cause all New Hampshire should see snow.
No, but you know,
I mean,
it's,
it does, but it's they have clear road policies there, so they have to keep everything off all the time and or salted.
well, our roads are as good as Concord and Bosquen and everything most of the time, but, their vehicles
A set for driving in the city.
are
Not
made for
in the country.
blacktop, not for,
Yeah, city blacktop.
and then you come around the corner, and there's 3 inches of snow on Manchester Drive, and there's 6 cars that are just sitting there. I mean, and then you try to get around them, to plow in front of them, you know, it's, yeah.
There's only so much plowing in of a car you can do to get
So
the road
we've
clear.
written number of parking tickets, because they just park on the side of the road.
Walk.
And it's funny, but their employer pays for all the tickets.
Really?
Well,
Huh.
it's hard to get help, as we all know, so, at least winter's behind us.
Yeah, no,
We
it
think.
is, but it's,
So-
but
We hope.
just,
Right.
but keep that in your mind
The
for
second
budgets
winter is.
and different things, it's that place is starting to cost us a little bit of money, more than the neighbors are ready to put sale signs on their house.
Well, I don't blame them, but that's their choices. So, anyway,
Moving right along. So, yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good at the end of the day.
all right.
I do have one thing for the public safety building. 2 new cameras, and we need a 16-channel recorder, because the one that we got there is when they first put the cameras in, what, 18, 20 years ago? And it won't handle the amount of cameras that we have there now. You will understand this when you see the second page.
Okay.
But the camera's gonna go in the front of the building facing towards the road, so one of them is gonna go directly to the sign, so that we have a real good resolution camera there, so we'll know if anybody does anything to the sign. And the other one's gonna cover the whole front parking lot.
Which we don't have covered now.
We don't have coverage there. That's the one place that's blank.
Supply labor and material to install this and recorder.
See if they take that out of the ARPA money?
Either on the public safety or one of the two. We have enough money in public safety if not. Does that make sense to you? I figured it would to you.
It makes sense. I'm questioning why they're adding another analog camera instead of just
Analog
doing
cameras for
everything by
just to cover the front of the building, then the high resolution ones for the distance.
Well, yeah, but you can get anything that's an analog camera, which if you think about it, think of it as your like standard cable style connector on the back of a TV. Anything that's analog, you deal with that and power and a bunch of other things. You're usually running multiple wires, and then it's harder for the unit to actually do the processing, whether it's motion capture, like, oh, I'm only gonna record when there's motion, or I'm gonna keep this for certain amounts of time if there's people that have been in it. Those sorts of things are a lot harder to do with analog and a lower quality.
I
than
think
if
he
you do
did
it
that
with
only
IP
because that's what we
cameras.
have there now, so it matches what we have, except for the one covering all the way down to the road.
Okay, so it's a 16-channel analog plus 8 IP channels. That's the thing that he's suggesting is the base portion. So I would question, I would ask the question, how many analog NIP you already have, to see whether that actually is the most
We
sensible
have
thing.
9.
Total. Okay, so,
On your side, and I
On our
have
side,
3
and
on
you
my
get 3 on your
side.
side, and then this will add 2 more.
so 12, so it's a total of 14, which is fine, and I'm not worried about the number of channels, but if all of it's analog, that's one thing. If, however, your current base unit also handles some IP, then instead of upgrading the whole unit, you could just add the IP cameras to it that are new to go along with what's already there. So that would be my question as to what you already have for capability
I
that way?
don't think we have enough there now to cover 2 more cameras.
Okay,
That's the reason why. I think we're right at max, so that's why we need something. And the one we got is, I think 19 years old, 18 or 19 years old.
all right. And what is?
But I would
what is
ask
the
that question.
Yeah, so I would just ask that to make sure that they give an appropriate answer. Where are you expecting to pull these funds out of?
We
Check
we
the
have
doors
enough money in the
at night.
public
Yeah,
safety building.
yeah.
Okay, so
that we
it's the
can take it
public
out of there.
safety.
Or if, I think,
Said paid out of the American Rescue Plan Act?
or the public safety building, whichever we can get it from.
Oh yeah, public safety building maintenance budget. So it says right there.
Okay, oh, perfect. Thank you for pointing that out.
This is a good time for me to,
Uh-oh.
tell you what I've been thinking. And, well, I won't tell you everything.
Oh, God, we don't have time, do we?
Our cash flow is,
Should this go that way?
close at the moment.
Okay.
And even though our budget was approved, we don't get the money until the first we start collecting
I'll
taxes.
send it that way.
And right now, I've got 2 school payments that are over $700,000 that I have
Yeah.
to make sure I have money for.
We'll take that out of this.
I hate, so, I mean, this is not going to do
That's why we
anything.
can take that out of
But
public safety.
I'm just saying that I appreciate whatever purchases you can delay.
Yep.
If you need something, you need something, but would be great.
We don't really have to have that.
So I don't
put
have
in
to come to the
until
board and say we need to borrow a TAN note.
Yeah,
'cause-
no, I don't wanna do that.
Yeah.
We can also, we don't have to put that in until we get the sign in.
Well, this would come from,
I mean, if it came from ARPA, there's no problem.
yeah, if it's ARPA, or even if it came from the Safety Building Trust Fund,
Right.
which I think we've got enough money in there for.
I
money
would,
of this
I would
sort of
say we
thing.
do.
yeah.
This amount doesn't scare me a lot. I mean, that's not really what I'm looking for, but I just thought I'd mention that. And ever since I've been here, we've not been as low as we are, and I guess it's just because, maybe some of the taxes are a little slow coming in,
Yeah, I'm good with that.
you know?
Which I would point out to make sure that we don't get into a situation we did before. Most of your funds for road maintenance, et cetera, all do come from funds still, so don't think that that applies to you, please.
Oh, I know. I
just wanted
realize
to
that
be
because
super
it-
clear.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that, oh my gosh, you know, call 911, we're not that bad. But I also know that these, school payments, and
Yeah, they're a
again,
little more important.
the way it's structured, as you know, we're paying the school for money we haven't collected yet.
So regarding that point of payment for these projects, I know that we've been waiting on hearing about the pricing for the extra fob and so on. Have we heard back from them yet?
Yes, they've been here,
Okay.
and I have not gotten a quote, I've had them look for upstairs as well. And that money is scheduled to come out of the ARPA funds.
Right.
And so the reason I ask that is because that I think will be the majority of what's left in the art, like that's kind of where we're we've chunked everything out for the ARPA funds, and that would kind of help tell us how much we're expecting to have left and whether it would make sense to pull this from that.
I think we have some more funds that are due the record retention project. But I can get you a better figure, on that.
Okay.
But I think you're right, I don't think we really have.
Yeah, I'd like to look at that, and then when we do, obviously, we're doing White Plains, which is not currently scheduled to come out of ARPA, even though originally we had thought we might be able to do some of it that way. I'd like to basically set aside what we think is we're gonna need for records retention in ARPA, and then finish off the use of the ARPA funds towards White Plains, and then pull out of our normal funding for it, so that we've made sure we've used all of it and don't have to worry about accounting for small, tiny little purchases and projects everywhere.
That's good, because I have a 23-page report I have to do for them by the end of the month.
Oh, that sounds.
And I'm just a little guy, I don't know how.
The reporting is not fun for it, and I don't want to have.
Although it's not as bad as it
have a
sounds,
lot
but.
more reporting
but
to do.
It's a lot of paperwork,
Yes.
so thank you.
You're busy enough without having to do all that, so.
Well, it keeps me busy. you
Yeah,
know?
right, keep you out of trouble.
So I would ask them that question and then bring back the answer and either the same quote or an updated quote at that point. And he'll have more answers as to which fund we should take it out of.
Sounds good.
All right. Anything else from department head stuff?
Think we're good?
No, I'm good, thank you for everything.
All right. Any other questions from the board on department head meeting portion?
No, doing a good job.
I would like to thank Emmett for going over to Concord and getting these 10-ton file cabinets.
525 pounds.
Is that what they were?
There's a tag on it.
Well, I was picking it up earlier just to see if I could tell what it was, but,
Well, when you get ready and find a spot, let me know and I'll get some help together and we'll get it down where it needs to go.
yeah. I'm sorry I wasn't here when you came on Friday.
No, I was running late.
You know,
I,
But we appreciate that, and.
Russell and the boys left to,
And I thought afterwards, maybe we didn't make it clear what we were talking about with these very heavy file cabinets.
I still got my rollers at the station, we can use those and put them on it.
Oh, it's right at the door, we just gotta go down in. It's 525-pound filing cabinet, and it says right on the dolly, rated for 300, so we're gonna make it. We're a little overloaded, don't give us a ticket.
Yeah, right? Who's calling the PD?
Emmett, thank you very much.
No, I had help, I brought my two guys, Russell and Benny, and, yeah. I couldn't have done it alone.
Well, it's terrible, I'm at the
Well, I
point
could
now
have.
that
I got that
I have
little
to say,
button.
okay, you do that.
So that moves us on to old business and the sand shed. And so there's a whole bunch of stuff kind of wrapped up into this, of course, as most everybody knows at this point, which is the whole second driveway situation, and then having the access road that goes up that side that's not steep to get there, and so on. Hopefully, it sounds like everything is gonna be good for the driveway permit to be going in very shortly. I know there's been back and forth with legal and others about how the letters should be formed and so on, but I think we're good there on most of it. Do you wanna comment on any of that?
The letter is ready, I wanted the lawyer just to look at it. Obviously, I wanna protect the town. I don't think there's really an issue to worry about this. However, I think that we need to do our due diligence. I talked to the lawyer today, it's ready, he's sending it over. And Russ talked with the gentleman, the property owner, and he just said, put it in the mail, because his work takes him in and out various places. So, we will do that and wait to get that back. I know Russ has been in contact with the state, and don't let me say things that aren't true. about that, and I am looking forward to having a permit for the driveway.
From the state.
From the state.
Yeah.
Did they get it across the street?
Yes.
That was quick.
Very quick.
They claim the
Interesting.
guy never came out, they sent it in the mail, never seen it happen before.
It's very interesting.
So, now that we kinda know where we're at with that, I know we can't really assume, but for the sake of conversation, let's assume that we actually get a permit sometime soon. What are we looking at for timelines and/or other logistics for making, A, the second access to the safety building happen, once that happens, and then B, the access up to the sand shed location?
After we get that driveway permit, we can start working on different things, cause we,
Cause I know you've got a whole bunch that you've got
Right.
planned for
right,
both
but we have to
portions of
get,
Pleasant and so on, so.
that cleared out, get the trees gone, and it's not dire need to get to the top of that hill overnight. I mean, my priority is we're gonna go down and work on Pleasant Street, which I call the dump road, the dirt part of that. And then get 2,500 feet up on the other end, ready for pavement. And we can use that as a filler. I mean, it's not like we have a deadline.
Right.
It would be, even if we get the road up there, you can't go up there and sit there and drink a beer anymore because the cops are at the bottom of the hill gonna tick you when you come back out. So, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, fine.
We're gonna do it.
Well, so, I'm trying to come up with a time frame because, well, A, we had already said that we were gonna have it done, but of course, the driveway stuff and,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
access and so on kinda threw a wrench in that. But I wanna make sure that if, for example, we are able to get to the top by the end of the year, that we can know that and start planning to set money aside and have the right people talking about what's needed for an actual sand shed, so that next year we can do
Okay,
that and
so
make it so you can use it.
Right, but don't, let me just throw a monkey in the wrench,
Okay?
okay? Getting to the top of the hill with the road 20 feet wide isn't a big deal. But you gotta have quite a pad and a good stable piece of land before you build anything on it.
Right.
That's you got step one, and then step two is figuring out where your building's gonna go, get that mucked out and filled back in with material. And then step three, otherwise I guess you can be looking at a building, what you're putting up, but,
As a budgetary number, what is,
Yeah.
what do
Well,
we have for
that's
money in
part-
there?
cause you're talking 2,500 feet from the road to where your building's
I
gonna go.
wanna say there's somewhere just, I think after it's funded this year, there's gonna be somewhere around 250 sitting in it. Which, not saying we're gonna get up there, you know, fully paved and everything for that amount.
Right.
But
Well, it's a good
That's
start.
That's a good start. I
that
was
should-
gonna say,
that should-
that's a bad start.
that should get us up there, get things roughed in.
Yeah.
Get a, you know, figured out where we're gonna put it, so we can start looking at buildings and how much of a pad we're gonna need to put in, of what kinds and so on, so that the next year we can continue working on it and appropriate any money that we need to do that. So that's why I'm trying to get that, like, kind of step in what we should be expecting. So you think there will be time to do that while you're also doing the other projects you're expecting to do? Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. So let's hope that we actually get the permit like we should.
And not wait a year for it, especially how the guy across the street has already got his. I don't, maybe we should call Jock.
But, all right.
I found that very
So
interesting.
that was what I wanted to talk about the sand shed.
Yeah.
Is there any other questions, comments, or thoughts that you wanna talk about on it?
No, after we get that driveway permit, I'm gonna go up, we'll go up and, cut that tar and, rip that out of there and, loam it in and seed it in and, put the hay to it and the grass will grow and the gentleman there, Tom, he would be a very nice young man, top notch. I mean, he was great.
Yeah, yes.
Emmett, do we need to relocate a utility pole for the?
I'm not sure yet on all that. After we get the driveway permit, the guy from the state will say dee-dee-doo-doo
Okay.
and whatever, because there's a culvert pipe that goes across that we gotta stay away from, that takes the water from in front of the safety building, that goes across Battle Street towards the river.
Drains it.
So there's some different things there and we might have to, but.
Just curious, yeah.
I got connections there with the Unitil people.
You have connections. Yeah.
All right. Well, that moves us on, thank you. Thank you both, gentlemen. You're welcome to.
Are you good?
I think I'm good. You're welcome to stay around for
No,
any of the entertainment.
No, I know you have business, but you don't need me for backup.
Nope. We're good. We're good.
Thanks, Emmett.
All right, so that moves us along to.
Thank you.
Thanks, Emmett, thanks.
The town-owned property and a bid opening.
We have a
Speaking
bid
of
opening
cash flow.
for a property that we own at the corner of Cornhill Road and Centennial Drive. It was offered to the abutters. I have one bid for it. We do have interest in another parcel that we've talked about previously, which will be at your next meeting. We have an ad in, I talked to the editor of this very important local paper, the Grapevine, so I wanted people to have
Oh,
a
you're so
chance to
sweet.
see it before we put it up. But this one, right now, just went to two abutters, and apparently one was interested.
All right.
So I did not do a cheat sheet thinking there was only one, so pardon me.
And can you remind us what the minimum bid
Yes, I can.
requirement was?
7,500 or 7,500.
Oh, we're getting eight of that or what?
Hey,
Money's money.
You know, we may not be able to get into this.
We glued it.
It's another envelope.
Oh, look, an envelope.
Oh, jeez. Wow, the anticipation is killing me.
hey, they just
And
wanted to
inside
make
of it
sure it
is
was a sealed
another
bid.
envelope.
Just making sure it's a sealed bid. I like it.
Okay, so the bid is received from Martin Smith, 332 Dover Road, Chichester, New Hampshire. Martin Smith owns the property next to it that the town used to own, the little cottage that Harold French got the bid.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And he reassigned the title to Martin Smith. 8,600 is his bid.
Perfect.
All right.
I make a motion to accept the bid.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All righty. Well, congratulations on your new property that you will now be merging into your other existing property. That moves us along to the code enforcement update.
So the first one was for the complaint brought by Sue McGinnis. I talked to the owners of the property with the shed, and they did the measuring themselves after Tom had gone out and confirmed it was 18 feet from the property line, so they said they would have it moved by the end of June. So that one worked out pretty well, so we're gonna send the inspector out at the end of June, and if it's moved, we're all set, done. And the next one, we sent Tom out for the property at 209 Deer Meadow Road, and he said the complaint was more about being an eyesore and oil getting into the aquifers. So this is the report that he submitted back. With the pictures, if you wanna see the pictures as well. And my question to the board is, what do you wanna do next on this one?
We don't have that in our packet, do we?
No,
Okay.
I should've given it to Dana, but I didn't think about it.
Yeah, I would like that.
And that's the original complaint with the pictures.
Okay, so it's the original complaint and just the front is the.
Is the letter.
So what, if anything, do our regulations and zoning ordinances say about numbers of unlicensed cars?
That is completely the state's junkyard ordinance,
Okay,
which is what we're doing at the next meeting.
so at how many vehicles does it become considered junkyard?
Believe It's 2 unregistered vehicles, but I'd have to look up the RSA again.
Okay,
I know, you were thinking, I was thinking more.
yeah, I was thinking it would be like, you're
It's
not
not-
supposed to have more than 2 in a residence, but if it's more than like 5 or 10, then you're a junkyard, sort of thing. But,
Do you know what?
I thought it was, in my pea grain years ago, I
You
thought
can
that
only
they,
have
that's
2
what they,
unregistered vehicles
they
on your
had
property.
two.
You can have
unregistered.
two
yeah,
unregistered.
I'm pretty
okay.
sure you're allowed 2
Yeah,
unregistered
Yeah.
on the property,
Right.
with the exception of if they are currently being used for repairing other vehicles.
Oh, they can have more.
I think. But it's been a while since I read stuff when I was looking at places to move to, including here. So that could have been another town that I was looking at the time.
Okay, so where do we take it from here then?
That's the question. Do we wanna send an enforcement letter out and say, you need to clean up the cars?
But he's only got 2.
Well, he's got more than 2.
Oh, I thought he had 2.
No,
Oh.
he's got 12.
Oh, 12?
He has
Oh.
what?
I think
Oh.
12 was.
Didn't you just think they said there was only 2?
Well, I did,
So no.
no, the 2 was the number.
Number, is you, oh, okay,
became
okay,
a-
yes, there's 12,
an
yeah.
issue. So if we are clearly well above what that number would be, then I think it would be our duty to send out a.
And
enforcement
because it's to do with
The
the
aquifer?
groundwater in the aquifer, do we wanna have them draft up a letter to New Hampshire DES from the board with the concern to bring it to their attention?
For DES, I would not be against that, but before we would send straight to DES as the select board, I would like to have input from the Conservation Commission on
Okay.
what they think and how deep that might be or not, so that that information is added into the letter to make DES's job easier, one way or another.
So what do you mean, how deep? You mean how deep the aquifer is?
Yeah, like how deep do they expect the aquifer, and I'm sure that some of this is gonna be on
Right.
charts and stuff that
There is an
we can pull,
aquifer chart, I
but-
didn't confirm.
Cause I
that
know
the
I have
lot
an
is over the
aquifer by my
aquifer.
house too,
But,
so,
but
Yeah.
having, yeah, we've got an
Yeah.
aquifer down by our place.
yeah, right.
And, but the questions would be, you know, and this is the kind of thing that I would think the Conservation Commission would want to chime in on and also want to keep track of. So
Okay.
I think we should route it through the Conservation Commission before we send out to DPS.
Okay,
Well, yeah, but can't we start by just saying, hey,
well,
You
that's
know.
the next step.
what?
Well,
can't
so
we-
there's a letter.
there's 2. There's the enforcement letter to the people
Yeah,
that are doing this.
yeah,
And then there's also the sending to DES.
yeah, I'd say yeah,
And
you
so-
can, you can,
Right.
can chime in with the Concom, but let's just issue the guy
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
going to him, I think it's.
before
our-
we get
I think it's
everybody
gonna
all
be our-
riled up.
Yeah, I
Let's-
think it's gonna be our duty that we have to send it to him that, hey, there's an
Right.
enforcement action. And then as far as going to DES, maybe he just fixes it, and then the thing from the Conservation Commission is something more the effect that the Conservation Commission asks DES to look into it, as opposed to there's a current massive violation. So it could change things depending on what the actions are.
Okay, so it's
But
like.
that's not really us, that's here DES, this is what's currently happening, and maybe it's still the same as it is now, maybe it's not. But as far as the enforcement action, I think that's what we would, as part of our due diligence, would be required to do.
Would you, the two unregistered vehicles, because I don't know, I assume there's some unregistered, should we kind of put a little clip in that letter about this is what we have?
Well, I usually send the person everything that the property owner sent us. So
That what sent us?
I send out the complaint report that Tom did, and all the pictures with it when I send the letter to the owner, so they have all the information we have.
Oh, okay, okay.
And basically it would be, so you are required to get down to, if the limit is two,
Yeah.
two unregistered vehicles that are,
Well, there
outside
are-
whatever the actual regulations and ordinances being cited.
There are some exceptions for people who restore antique cars, but that
Mhm.
is a very specific thing.
Yeah,
So that's the,
so
I don't know if that qualifies here. I haven't seen the
I would
cars.
like to have you draft up an appropriate letter for us to look at and sign, unless you've already done so.
Haven't done it yet, I was waiting to see what we
So that
wanted to
we
do.
can look at that and do it, and, specify these are the things that are the problem, and you'll need to bring it down to X number. It's not up to us to care which ones they are, as long as they bring themselves into compliance, so.
Right.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
Any other questions or comments?
Nope.
All right.
So draft a letter, got it.
Tax credits and exemptions. Dave?
No, this one's,
Dave?
nope, this one's me again.
You,
So
God, what's he
Ed,
doing, passing
we're
the
getting
buck?
close
So
to
you really
April
are making
15th.
sure we're moving along tonight.
April 15th is
I
the
love
magic date when all tax credits and exemptions
Ah.
are due. I've been collecting all the applications after the December bill. So I just have a whole packet of them that the board just needs to sign. And then they get their credits. I've already verified all the documents to make sure that they qualified.
You can just think, tax credits, IRS, tax credits, IRS.
If you have any questions about any of them,
Budget,
Yeah.
let me know.
taxes not made.
Money going away.
Yeah, right.
The ones in the back here aren't ready yet.
The ones in the back aren't ready yet.
Yeah, those ones I'm waiting for.
Alright. So these are all okay.
I'll take off the phone number, that's for
Yeah, you
me.
don't need that. So where do we sign?
Next page. Page two.
Oh, it's page 2, okay.
I've written in the amounts.
And then we have to sign on
The right
all
line.
of them, right?
Well, you should. I can't force you to sign.
It would be
things.
nice if there's we approve this stack line, but,
Yeah, well, they're all individual because they go in each property file.
yep.
Are these new ones, or are they the?
These are new ones.
The affirmation of the others?
I believe it's one veteran, 3 solars, and then 1 current use application.
Okay, so it's not a lot, it's just a bunch of papers.
No, it's just, there's 2 pieces of paper for every single one. And then
This
for the
looks
current
like
use is like 4
I was
or 5.
gonna say, this looks like 4 pieces, 5 pieces.
Yeah, people print off more.
That might be the current use one.
I try to give you the only 2 pages that matter.
No, oh, okay, these, and then what's all that?
That's all the information about
Oh,
the
okay, so
exemptions.
just these, so I only have to sign the ones
So
on the
you
other
only have to
side.
sign that page.
Okay.
You should have put little stickies on it.
Oh my God.
This one was
Oh, I gotta print it. Oh, I gotta print my name, I did it wrong. Signature link, oh my God.
this one is the solar exemption.
You could probably have done this and sign.
Oh,
the
yeah, print and
documents.
sign.
I put it on the agenda so I remember to do it.
Good man.
And that's just the same. Everything that's paper clipped together is one app.
Okay, thank you.
I know, I'm just being, mother henning it,
one
walking around, making sure everything's
is-
done.
Another solar exemption. What page of this one have? Check.
Oh, I'm supposed to put the date on, you're gonna do the date, Russ?
Does it say for it? Yeah,
What's the-
probably.
What's the date?
Today is the third, 4/3.
So the way that our solar exemptions work is that, so for example, if you put in new panels, like on your solar array,
Yeah.
the panels and stuff have a value. Whatever that value is, however many
That
the
one's in a
panels
trust,
are.
that's why it's got the
And the
second.
exemption basically
Any
says that when
pages
you
for the
do
credit?
that, that does not count
That one's
as
in the trust.
additional
So that's why.
Okay.
value
Everybody's
towards
got-
your
oh, so
assessment,
there.
so that you're not
Thank you.
penalized for having solar.
Right.
So there's no dollar amount per se.
Yep. Oh, Dee, do you wanna read this?
Your, your average solar install is somewhere around 20 to 25 grand of payment for the install, but that's most of it is
That's
labor.
You just need to give me a signature stamp for the board.
And
I
this
think the
is
signature
that.
stamp would be
Another
very
solar
handy.
one. That's it.
What is it? Okay,
Well,
I
I
gotta
mean,
sign.
nobody wanna stamp my name.
The form
Now,
is
but
the
I,
same as the
all
last
right, I
one.
signed
Yeah.
that. So I could, now I print this, or can I
Great.
just sign it again?
Look at you.
I'm supposed to print.
Oh, I would
it.
just print on the other line. I
Maybe,
think they'll
okay.
figure it out. And if
Think
DRA,
so?
Well, you can read Dee's
Same
signature.
thing.
Well, that's true,
I mean,
thank you, that's true.
Is,
Must be it.
PA 29, is that one from a different,
Oh, the 829. Leave it to your government.
what's the version at the bottom? That one they have
Okay.
more
well, it
of?
depends on who printed it.
Version
from.
1.33
I think that's
to
done.
2022.
This one's 2020, so this is the older style form. It doesn't matter for this, but.
No, it doesn't.
Hey, Dave, sign it, would you?
I'm just like, why is
I'm
this
only
different?
kidding.
Well, it depends on if they printed it off our
Well, you've got the
website,
sun.
if they printed it off the
Yeah.
DRA's
Thank you.
website.
That's what I have.
Yeah, really.
Different places.
I
try
tell
to keep it up
you,
to
my
date.
bedroom windows, in my house, I have giant windows, I mean, like they're twice that size.
Okay, and this is a
And I have
veteran
sun coming in and
one.
like, and I, well, I have
There,
80
okay.
plants in my house too, so
Wow.
it's like they're blooming like crazy, it's just, it's wonderful. I feel like I'm in summer, and then I have 3 canaries
That's 'cause it's in
downstairs, and
a
they sing
trust.
all the time, so it's like being
Yeah,
outside.
okay.
It's amazing, cause I do a lot of
So
walking.
thank you for your service.
And many houses have every shade drawn.
Oh, I couldn't live like that.
I'm thinking, God, I hate that. It's
Yeah,
so
I'm with
depressing.
you, yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't like that either.
Although, my sister-in-law does that. Don't ask me who wants to look in the window at her, but.
We will,
They don't land here.
On
Good thing
TV,
you're not on
right.
TV with, at her station.
You're on the current use application, Dee?
I think that's what she's on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
might
can
be.
explain
Because
that.
we've done this, the 3
They have
solars
several,
and
they bought one of the lots
veteran.
that was in Walker Pond.
Oh, they did?
Yes.
Oh, isn't that nice, huh?
And they're adding it to the current use with their other lots.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So as we sign, you got any correspondence?
I do have correspondence.
Only because we can sign and listen.
Fair.
You can sign and listen.
In
I
other
have
words, you wanna get
lines.
going.
No, I'd love to, no, what are you
we like
talking
being here until
about?
midnight.
Oh, my
No, we're
God.
never here till midnight, what are you talking about?
And, Beth's only been here to midnight.
All right. This one and
Are
that
you
one.
ready for me?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Well, in your correspondence, you saw we had a very nice note from Michelle.
Yeah.
Thank you for the words and beautiful flowers and the really cool pin and, you know,
Yeah, the data gave me.
that,
I didn't even see the cool pin.
well,
Dana
it was
was
all
good.
wrapped up when I brought it.
Okay. It's a
Anyway,
surprise, huh?
it was, so, anyway, and Wendy had said, you know, I think she'd like a pin and I knew just where to go buy it.
Wow,
So,
well, thank you very much for doing it.
Well, it's my pleasure. The other is, we got a court decision on a case with the planning board, Rossboro. That was the impact fee, the request to return the impact fee. The planning board said no, and it went to Superior Court, and the court sided with the town, which was nice.
That is nice. Correct.
We got a letter from, regarding the Pillsbury Lake District's pesticide control of the lake, telling, the company that they hired and what they're gonna treat it with.
Having looked at that, like, personally don't have a problem, it's just they're deleting, but for the purposes of making sure that all the right people get to look at it, we'd make sure you forward that to the Conservation Commission.
Yes, I will. I think they also got, I think they
I
got
think they were
mailed
already
one, but I will make
sent
sure
one,
they,
but
yes,
yes.
I'll make sure they get one. And finally, a notice of the planning board decision that Russ gave me regarding, what was this,
Tree
scenic
trimming
road,
on
tree
Mutton
trimming
Road.
on Mutton Road. And
Said
that,
CC you guys on it, so I did.
and that is the correspondence.
We also had the correspondence that I think showed up last night, that I forwarded on to you to make sure that Tom Bay gets. It was the,
Yes.
from Chris and I believe the Conservation Commission, that the time for the free training for him, for conservation and wetlands work, that is coming up, and so you should sign up for it.
All right, Russ got it, I'm sure he's
Yeah, we
forwarding
can
it on.
sign out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
forwarding on to them. And, yes, we did get that. I also heard, Dave, from, the attorney, because I've been asking him for a copy of what suggestions he had to the, ordinance for the coalition. And I talked with him a little bit about it, and he said it complies with the RSA, and he thinks he'll just, recommend it as is.
Okay, sounds good. So, we had basically made the motion that we wanted to adopt it enough to put it on the warrant articles and let the town make its decision, which it did. And the town put it into our hands with that warrant article, that it was now up to us to do the steps in further pursuance of doing community power. So we will need to be signing that document and making sure that the whole thing is fully done. We should probably do that at the next meeting. But that way we'll have the whole thing, and anyone will have it fully available with everything signed off and full dates of when things have happened in it.
You mean full dates of like when everything's gonna happen, but with
Well,
them?
when it did.
Oh, okay, all
So
right.
for example, I believe what's posted on the website, was, not including the date that the select board approved it to go to the
Oh,
warrant
okay,
article.
yeah.
It doesn't include the date that the warrant got approved by the town, and so we'll
Okay.
put all of that in it, so when we sign off on it, it'll be like,
Complete.
here's our final
Yeah,
complete
okay.
legal document.
Okay, that's good.
And so we can do that for the next meeting. Any further correspondence?
No.
All right. That would move us to public comment.
I wanted to say it.
Oh, okay.
And if you got one out, no, just kidding.
All right. So then we've got our draft meeting minutes and other approvals, et cetera.
Do we have non-public tonight?
We will be having it on.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Well, I think we know.
That's what I just wondered, I
And then
figured
we will
it.
have motions and
He doesn't like us.
signing of documents.
That's not right, that's not true.
So, do we have other documents to sign while we approve our minutes and such?
Yes, you do.
All right.
And if you'd like to be doing that?
Perfect.
Are we gonna multitask
And
again?
you want to mention the minutes?
Well, you're the one who found the error, you gotta mention it.
I
can't motion
don't
to
remember
amend.
what it was now.
I remember it
Truth
was
comes out.
involving the motion.
Did you see he was trying to pass it on to you?
Because I told him I don't know that I'll remember it, and I sent him what the change was.
Oh, well, now you're in trouble.
And,
You could've just asked me what you sent me, I remember that.
oh, okay. So that was the thing, and it was that, you both made the motion and seconded it
Oh.
in the minutes.
I mean, you're really talented, move super fast. Motion to
She's
second.
on top of it.
Yeah.
That could happen.
Yeah.
Want me to second that
So
now?
it's just,
No, just kidding.
so it's just fixing that
Yeah.
in the minutes.
Oh, well,
Um,
that's-
Everything else looked fine to me,
This is why copy and paste is not always your friend.
so,
So make a motion to
And-
accept the minutes
As amended.
as amended.
as amended, right?
All right, second. All in favor?
Aye.
And then we have the non-public minutes.
Oh, yes. Any changes to
I didn't
that?
see anything that I didn't think looked all right.
I think they're fine. I would comment that, we did have a little extra business as, and that was not covered under the original non-public. And while it is not I don't think it will be any sort of issue, we need to make sure that we are more appropriate about that in the future.
I have no idea what that was, but,
Let me make sure I'm looking at the right.
and I'm sorry, I guess I need to take better
Let me make
notes.
sure I'm looking at the appropriate one.
I don't complain about your notes. No.
Yeah, so it was under personnel, and that was appropriate and correct. But then for like the first and second paragraphs, the third paragraph then was not personnel. So we should have come out and said that.
Oh, I see, it's in here, but it should have been
Should have been in
separated.
the public.
Yeah, it should have been in the public portion. But we'll just make,
Okay,
and it's there, it's in the minutes.
they're not sealed, so.
It's not sealed, we didn't make a
Okay.
decision or anything of that
Okay,
nature.
good, I was
so-
thinking you were talking about another subject, which I,
So I
Yeah,
think
that's what I
that would
was
be
thinking.
perfectly fine, but we just need to be aware and make sure that we're in appropriate non-publics, and staying on topic and in that non-public type.
I
in the
should
future.
say, thank you.
So, I would move that we accept the non-public minutes for March 20th as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
We had talked about the quarterly transfer from the trust funds to pay the town back. And here are the motions.
Oh, that's in our packet.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's in the packet. Should this be one check with different funding, or should it be like we used to do it where it's a check from each type of fund for the thing?
I thought it would be just as easy if it were one check. And
Okay.
then where it's coming from is outlined within the motion. And the trustees will take it from the appropriate fund rather than have 6 checks or whatever it is.
Okay. All right, so I would move to request the trustees of trust funds issue a check in the amount of $28,559.69 payable to the town of Webster to reimburse the town for expenses to be withdrawn from capital reserve funds and expendable trust funds as listed. That would be $16,431.39 from Bridge Improvement Capital Reserve Fund for the invoices from Mitchie Concrete Products, invoice 80256 in the amount of $4,000, and invoices from VHB, 0396316, 0398852, and 0400555. So that total from Bridge Improvement Capital Reserve Fund to be $16,431.39. And also $4,550 to come from the Highways and Roads Capital Reserve Fund for invoices from Fleece and Flower Farm, numbers 6994 and 6996. And finally, from the Road Preservation Expendable Trust Fund for $6,232.50 for invoices from Chappelle Tractor, WEBST 007, on-rack equipment invoice 33645, sorry, on track, thank you.
Sorry, Chapel.
And J. Burton Sons Trucking LLC, invoice 01072. Finally, to withdraw from the compensated absences expendable trust fund, $1,345.80 to reimburse the current budget for the vacation payout for the town clerk. For the administrative assistant at the police department. And again, that total was $28,559.69.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Leaves us with, I assume, our warrants and the so while she continues to look through the first one, the second one is for ARPA distribution, which of course is for the document scanning. Can you just kind of give us an update on the whole project and where we are for you and your use?
So my department's almost done. So we've gotten through, the property files are scanned in, the building permits are being scanned in, or have been scanned in, and the subdivisions are all scanned in. What's left is the planning board cases, ZBA cases, and their minutes. That's all that's left in my department. And I'm also gonna be sending the select board minutes, the archive minutes in as well in this upcoming trip tomorrow. So then my department's done, and then we're gonna have to decide whether we're moving on to Dana or Wendy. Though probably I don't expect them to be able to do much of that until the auditors are done. And then once the audit's over with, then it's in their hands, they gotta figure out what to scan.
And how has it been to start using the product
So
at
it was a
this
little
point?
bumpy to begin with, because I didn't know how to put things in or how to add new stuff, but after working with their tech and over a couple phone calls, it's now pretty easy to use. And I find it incredibly useful, instead of having to get up, walk to the vault, and go in, dig out the file, pull it in, throw it on the scanner, scan it, copy it for people, and then hand it to somebody. My step is, tell me what you want, okay, I'll make a PDF, all right, shoot me an email, and then I give them the entire PDF and we're done. So it's been infinitely quicker. The only thing that's a little slower, but it's not gonna be a continued problem, is making sure to scan in all the backlog from when the property files left, from between, the time when we have them all scanned in. So I'm still working on getting a portion of those into the property file every day. I do a portion of them, it's almost done, and then I'll be up to date.
Awesome,
Very happy with it.
sweet.
That's that.
All right. So I guess I'll sign this one first, because it's the easiest one.
That's what I do.
Well, you're not gonna say, you're not gonna pay that guy that.
You realize you pointed at your name, right?
Oh, yeah, right? Hey, why not?
And so the check number's not being used, that's just a notation for auditing because the number started differently.
We have to account for every check number, and the software started the wrong number, and Wendy didn't stop it before, and so that's why I wrote that.
Okay.
That never happens anywhere
It
else.
really shouldn't happen either with the software, but that's a whole. another
Yeah, I
story.
wanna ask the question how, but
Yeah, that's what I
I'm
was
not-
wondering. Just 3 checks come out with nothing written on it, the first 3
It
numbers?
just really, the software should start up with the next check number,
Yeah, right,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, well,
let's see, the,
it hiccuped.
fortunately, the largest payment on this is actually to our library, which is awesome. Unfortunately, that means that next time we'll probably see the schools.
Do you just on the back of this too?
Let's see.
Did
Oh,
you?
yeah, because this one was the ARPA one.
Oh,
so
you
we needed
missed
to
that,
s-
Dave.
yep.
Okay, you did.
Because I was thinking she was handing me one document.
Of course not.
Double-sided printing is awesome.
Yeah, sometimes. Cause I've been known to miss.
Just
No, I didn't-
due to
oh, I
our
didn't
budget, you know, we're trying to
Well,
save
that's good
paper.
though, it's good.
Well, we can sign it on the way back too, it's all good. There we go.
Oh, Marlo.
Is there anything else for us to sign or to
So
handle in
we're
this
falling
process?
on that.
No, that's all I have, thank you.
All right.
Does that mean you get
That
the
back to you.
promotion?
All right. So do we have anything further that anyone would like to cover before we go into non-public?
I'm okay.
My newspapers are coming out today and tomorrow.
Perfect.
And the
Watch for the
non-public is
grapevine.
going to be under personnel,
All right.
RSA
I would move that we enter
91A3.
non-public session at 7:50 under personnel.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And for the pleasure of everybody viewing, we will immediately adjourn following the non-public session, so there will not be a reopening or another stream or video.